Hello and welcome to episode 74 of the Casual Try Hard podcast. I'm Brian.
And I'm James.
And this week we have a little bit of everything. Wizards at like 2 o'clock today banned a card in Historical, suspended it. Randomly. And spoilers have started. We're not going to talk too much about it. We might talk some, but we are going to talk about...
We're going to talk some.
We're going to talk some. We're going to also hit on some of the reprints.
Yeah.
That are out there now. So, if you would like to tweet at us your excitement for Core 21, you can get at us at CasualTryPod.
Yep. You can also hit us up on Facebook at CasualTryHardMTG. You can shoot us an email if you'd like. Show at CasualTryHardMTG.com. I check our email all the time, so that's probably the best way to get a hold of me. But yeah, I check our email all the time. We're always answering questions, so don't hesitate. We also have our Discord server up and running, and there's some pretty interesting discussions happening over there about all sorts of different stuff. So if you haven't joined in on that, there's a link on Twitter and on Facebook.
I include it in the description.
Yeah, there's one in the description too. Follow that link. We also have a Patreon-only finance room. If you sign up for Patreon, you can follow the link in there, and we do some spec stuff, some general like collection maintenance stuff, a little bit of grab bag, but like more stuff than what we typically cover on the show. So if that's your cup of tea, head over there. We're opening that up to any Patreon. So like any level you feel like donating, you're welcome into the room. We really don't have too many Patreon awards, so that's one of them we're giving to everybody. Even if you just pledge a couple bucks or whatever, that's completely fine. Also helps us support the show, keep us trucking along a little bit more directly than our TCG affiliate link, which you can also use if you're planning on picking up any cards, maybe some spec targets, maybe some. I think they do pre-order stuff on TCG also.
I think so as well. Yeah.
Our TCG link is tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Anything you purchase after following that link will get a very small cut of. Keeps the show going. We also have a YouTube channel. For the most part, it's just another way to get our content. We port our podcast episodes right to YouTube, but occasionally we throw some extra content gems in there, like we did a sealed for Ikoria, and we'll probably do something for Core 21. Not super like regimented though. That stuff seems to be coming kind of sporadically.
Yeah. It's hard to like find the time sometimes to like be in the headspace to record, and have the time to like record. But if it's something you guys really want, let us know.
Yep. Yeah, I mean we're kind of our shtick is that we're just kind of two guys making a show, and we're not we're not seasoned pros with unlimited budgets and time. Like we both have careers and families, and this is our hobby, and we really enjoy it, so we want to share it with some people.
We haven't figured out how to monetize this thing yet, and we're not trying that hard.
Well, I mean, we've taken a couple baby steps.
We have. I watched a random video about how much someone gets for YouTube, like YouTube revenue.
Yeah.
People had 1 million plus views on a YouTube video. They got $1,400.
Wow.
For like, I think it's $1,400 for 2 million views, and like $600 for 1 million.
It seems like not a whole lot of revenue for a whole lot of effort.
Yes, it does. Like, how do people make a living doing this?
I don't know.
All right. So, talk about the Discord server. We have a question on there. It kind of sat for a little bit, but we will get to them. It was in the
I feel super bad. I actually thought that I had made a response to this person, and then when I was going through some messages, I realized that I couldn't find the response anywhere. So I shot him a message, and it turns out I never responded. So I'm very sorry that my response never went through. I actually remember typing it out, but I don't know what happened there. I'm getting old.
These things happen. So if you want to put something in here as well that might make it into the show, go to show ideas.
Yeah.
In the Discord. Yep. So our question was, what is up with the disconnect between formats? Why are people so polarized to a specific format? And why are they so opposed to playing other formats? Is it just like a sibling rivalry where people think their format is best, or what is it?
I think there's a whole bunch of different things that go into this. especially with older formats, the first is money. If you have $1,500, $2,000 tied up in a modern deck, or $6,000 tied up in a legacy deck, like that's going to be what you want to play. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You're probably not going to sit around like jamming bad draft decks against each other when you got a deck full of Underground Seas and Tropical Islands in your bag.
Yeah, those games get played so rarely. The tropical seas, tropical islands, and underground seas typically don't make it in the bag.
Right.
It's like, I can't take you out, buddy. No one. I can show people you, but can't play games.
Yeah, that goes the other way too. Like people that spend their money playing Standard or Pioneer typically are a little hesitant to buy into Modern or Legacy, where like just the cost to enter the format so much higher.
Yeah,
if you've already got a couple $100 in your Standard deck that you've got to change out 2-3 times a year, then it's hard to justify dropping $2,000 on a Modern deck or whatever.
Yeah, I also think that there are some people that might want to play Legacy or Modern, but just can't. So they're kind of they can't for financial reasons. So they're kind of jaded against the format.
Could be
because they're just like, stupid format, stupid reserve list. So yeah, I think that's definitely.
You want to squash that real quick though?
What? Stupid reserve list?
Well, no, just people like being jaded against a format because they can't afford to be in it. Like,
I mean, I think that anyone who plays Legacy, if you like show up with a bunch of forests that have like proxies in front of them, I think that anyone who plays Legacy would be like, cool, let's play Legacy.
100%. People that play Legacy just want to play Legacy. They don't care. Proxy up a deck.
Yeah,
like we have a whole gauntlet of proxy decks at the store just because there's like 3 people that enjoy playing Legacy there.
Yeah, so that is definitely something that even if you won't be able to play the deck in a sanctioned tournament, there aren't sanctioned Legacy tournaments really.
Right.
So you can just enjoy it.
Yep.
And the one Legacy guy will really enjoy it if you're like, hey man, I put together Mono Red Prison. I guess we're gonna do this. Okay, let's sit down.
I guess we're gonna do this.
What are you playing? I'm playing no basics. Just make them all mountains and let's just go. Turn 1, all mountains. Sweet. Scoop. Let's do it again. At least I'm shuffling this thing. So that's one, is like just being priced out or not being able to get in. And also just like having the format that you put your money into. Right. And you also have like, this kind of ties into it, is like having a pet deck. You have a way you like to play. Right. And the formats kind of gear themselves towards a certain style of play.
Yeah, this is a biggie that I don't think people touch on enough. Like, I don't think anybody has ever come out, at least not that I've heard, and talked about the pet deck thing. This is especially true in Modern, I think. There are people that like only play Modern because that's the only place they can play Blue Moon or
Merfolk.
Merfolk or whatever their pet deck is. And they're not only are they kind of discriminatory or whatever towards other formats, but they're that way towards other decks as well, like even in the format. Like they have their Merfolk deck and that's what they're going to play every week, regardless if it's good or not. That's their jam.
Yeah. Now the upside of that, the playing it even when it's not good, is you get really good with your deck.
Yeah.
Right. You get you wring as much out of your deck as you can. But like they just want to play their deck. And I can't play my deck against your deck, so I don't want to play in your stupid format.
Right.
And another thing that kind of goes along with that, like I kind of touched on, was the idea of liking a certain style of play. Right? Like, I am the one who craps on Commander here. And that's because, like, I want to play, like, an engaged game of Magic against, like, one opponent and not have to deal with any kind of, like, political stuff or, like, the, like, ooh, don't counter my spell and I won't counter yours. It's like, no, like, we should be playing to play, like, in the best possible way.
Yeah.
And so that and like a lot of Commander games, not all of them, any Commander players, but I also just see people like you see a Commander game and there's like one person on their phone, one person reading Harry Potter, one person playing
playing their Switch.
Yeah, someone's playing Animal Crossing, and there's one person going through their turn.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, no, you're all sitting at a table and like you're each taking turns, playing a game of Magic, and then doing something else,
right?
In the in between times. And it's like, no, I want to like sit down and like play a game of Magic and like be engaged with this thing. Mm-hmm. And so Commander is not a format that appeals to me because of like that aspect, like where some people like the social aspect, like
right.
I like the competition aspect of it, and it just seems like those games a lot of times are just like, meh.
There's nothing on the line. You're just kind of sitting around going through the motions.
Yeah, so like that can be another reason is there's like, like this isn't how I want to play Magic, so I don't understand why anyone wants to play Magic that way.
Right.
Right. And then what's our last reason that you have here?
There's also some pretty high like barriers to entry, especially when you get into like the older formats. Like Legacy and Modern at this point have absolutely massive card pools. And because of that, there's some pretty like wild interactions in them that aren't necessarily present at face value. And if you're especially somebody that's like newer to a format or doesn't 100% know what's going on, it's really, really daunting to be like have to learn all those interactions at once. And it's also kind of a feel bad when you get blown out by something that like you didn't see coming, that like it's non-intuitive, like it doesn't work the way you think it would. It can really sour you or like turn you off of a format in general.
So I play combo decks, and I think I made Chris retire from Legacy.
Yeah.
Because we played, and I think I turn 2'd him 2 games in a row. I think he played like 3 total turns.
Yeah.
And he's just like, I don't ever do that again. And you just don't. There's so many little interactions that it's just hard to know a lot of times what's happening. Right?
Yeah, or which ones matter.
Yeah, or even in a format like Pioneer, right? You sit down and someone plays Inverter of Truth, and then they play Thassa's Oracle.
Yeah. And
you're like, what? How did I lose? What happened?
I had all these guys on my board, and they didn't have any. How did I lose?
It didn't matter, right? Yeah. And just those weird, like, interactions. Like, there are weird rules interactions. Like, for Legacy, rest in peace with Helm of Obedience.
Yeah.
So Helm puts cards from the library into the graveyard. Mm-hmm. But if there's no graveyard for those cards to go to, Helm just flips their entire deck over.
Right. Just puts it in exile.
And it's just this random rules interaction because it says places cards into the graveyard until you hit blah. Well, they don't go to the graveyard. And so you just lose a game to this like weird corner case rules interaction.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times like older formats are where weird rules quirks go to like thrive.
Right.
It's like, oh, hey, here's this really random corner case thing. I can build a whole deck around it. I'm going to do that now.
Like Lion's Eye Diamond is kind of a perfect example of that.
Yeah, it's like
that card I played when that card was in booster packs. Like I played during Mirage, and that card was absolute garbage. I've told the story a million times. I vividly remember, standing at the counter of a game store, opening booster packs of Mirage, and Lion's Eye Diamond was my rare, and I threw the entire pack in the trash can. And now, like, that's a staple of 5 different decks?
Easily.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's just, some people will look at a format and go just like, I don't want to try to learn this. Mm-hmm. So, why don't you play my format?
Right.
Okay, so there, I think we've answered our our Discord question.
Yep.
All right, so since we've last talked, there was spoilers for Core 21.
Surprise!
Yeah, you you just got like your Aquaria cards sorted,
Yep.
And now buy more cards.
I think I still have a Korea cards not sorted.
I think I have all mine sorted. But yeah, it's just like buy more cards. Like, okay, cool. Core 2021 feels like a very fire design set.
Yeah, you mentioned something before the show, and like we really need to start recording our pre-show stuff. Like just I don't know, throw up on Patreon or something extra, because there's some real gems in there that, you know, sometimes I think we have a hard find working into the actual show. So that might be some cool content to have. But one of the things that you said kind of got me thinking, and I don't remember exactly how you phrased it, but you likened Core 21 to a Masters set.
Yes.
And it very much feels like a Masters set. And that's kind of a weird thing to say about a core set, because core sets have always been like powered down, not great draft environments.
Like very much, the draft is very much about like things with power and toughness and pump spells. Right. And like creature enchantments are usually good because they just make your thing with power and toughness have more power and toughness. Yeah. Or they're usually pretty basic, limited environments, and the cards they give you they can be powerful, but they are a lot of times just kind of like basic cards that are pretty easy to interpret on face value. So,
yeah, I mean, for a long time, like core sets were just meant to get players involved in the game.
That's why
it was a starting point.
That's why they were in the summer, is because kids are off school, so they have time to kill in the summer. So hey, here's this product to onboard them.
Right.
When they have nothing to do in the summer, let's learn how to play Magic. So the reason I made the comment about it feels like a master set is we were talking about the new Teferis, which we did. Your Reddit guy was correct.
Yeah, right? He was pretty correct about a lot of stuff, wasn't he?
But like all of it, everything we mentioned last week has turned out to be true. Yeah. So Teferis, what was it? It's 2 blue for a 3 mana, a 3 loyalty planeswalker. +1, you can draw a card and discard. -3, target creature an opponent controls phases out. And then, what is it, -9, you can take 2 turns. And it has a static of you can activate his planeswalker abilities anytime you can play an instant. So you can activate them twice a turn cycle, once on your turn and once on your opponent's.
Correct. It's -10, though.
-10, sorry. Yeah, which is the only way that like the phasing ability works, because things phase back in on the untap step.
Untap, yep.
Right, but we've seen a pretty decent number of cards in the set, and a pretty decent number of high rarity cards, because that's usually how they do the previews, right? As they preview the higher rarity things first, and we're about a quarter of the way through the set. And we haven't seen another card with phasing.
Yeah, really strange.
And it seems just super weird, like when they like just throw a one-off mechanic in a master set because they want to reprint a card.
Yeah. Actually, we only have a mythic and 2 rares in blue.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so there could be more phasing in blue. But it just feels a little off that we haven't seen another, like we haven't seen an uncommon that has phasing.
Right. It's really strange that they decided to ratchet up the complexity so high just to include phasing and then not use it anywhere else.
And I know we keep mentioning that phasing is complex. For example, if something phases out, all the enchantments, all the auras that are on it phase with it.
Correct.
It's not like when something goes to exile and then comes back when you blink something. No. It gets to take all of its pants with it.
Equipment too, right?
Yeah. I guess those are hard pants.
Yeah, got my hard pants on today.
Yeah, just got my steel-toed boots on, and we're going. Great. Usually when something leaves the battlefield, stuff falls off of it. Not when it phases.
No.
You just take all those cards, that whole stack, you stick it under your playmat, and then
pretend it's not there.
When your untap phase comes around, you pull it out from under your playmat and you put it on top again.
So I just had a thought because you said that. I wonder if they went with phasing instead of blink because of mutate.
That's what I had thought as well, because if you were to blink something, it would just blow up the whole mutate pile.
Well, it wouldn't blow it up, but it'd split it up.
Yeah, I mean, it would just take it, instead of having one thing that has, like, that's mutated 6 times, you would have, like, 6 things that have not mutated at all.
Right.
And that might be it, because they might have been like, well, we can't, it messes with mutate too much.
Yeah.
So the set does seem complex. The kind of the tagline that Wizards is using, well, I think the official slogan is, "It's magic time."
It's magic time.
Yeah, which just sounds like the thing from Fantastic Four. It's clobbering time. It's just
clobbering time.
That's what Morrow says, like, just randomly at, like, work, I'm sure, all the time. "Hey guys, it's magic time," and then runs away. Just like, okay, Morrow, cool. So we have what they've been selling for this set is iconic reprints, powerful new cards, and dogs.
And dogs. Why and dogs?
Because all the hounds from all of Magic's history are being eroded to dogs.
Yeah, I guess this is something that Rosewater had been working towards for like 25 years now.
Yeah.
Like ever since he started at Wizards, he's been trying to make hounds dogs. And I guess everybody he's ever worked for has always been like, nah, dude, hounds.
Yeah, which, I don't know, like, why is that the hill you're going to die on, someone?
I have no idea.
We can have cats? You can have cats. What about dogs? No.
Hounds.
It's like the saying is not like fighting like cats and hounds.
Right.
So they've made all hounds dogs. All right.
Correct.
But for 2 in a red, you get a 2/2 elemental dog. Name? Bolt Hound. He's Bolt Dog.
No, Bolt Hound.
But he's a dog.
Right.
I don't know. It's just dogs all the way around, people.
One or the other.
One or the other.
They probably did that just as a joke.
Probably. It's just like, no, we established that all hounds are dogs. Why do we still have hounds?
But it's a dog.
Oh, speaking of really complicated cards for, like, no reason.
Yeah.
Here's a reprint that I missed.
Okay.
We're getting face fetters.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's, like, super weird.
It is super weird. It's a cool card. I'm glad we're getting it.
So, they have pumped in a lot of reprints in this set. Which
some pretty heavy-hitting reprints.
Yeah, which just kind of, I think, going forward, if they're going to do this frequently, like, I don't know how you buy, like, cards that aren't on the reserve list.
Yeah.
That aren't, like...
Unless you like lighting $100 bills on fire.
Yeah, or just, like, there are some cards that are super niche and hard to reprint because of their mechanics.
Yep.
Like, think about how long Through the Breach needed a reprint.
That's true.
And because it had Arcane on it, it's hard to reprint because they can't just throw a card with Arcane into a core set.
Right. It has to have something with Arcane in the set. Otherwise, it doesn't draft well.
Yeah, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, we say this, and we currently have a card with phasing.
Right.
So the world is a strange place now. But
but like phasing's a little different though, because at least with phasing, like it doesn't rely on another card having phasing. Like Arcane literally says on the card, you need another card with Arcane.
Yeah. So I feel like at least marketing is leaning super hard into having to have good reprints and absurdly pushed cards to sell sets. And I don't know if that's 100% true.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think they're trying to like appease their customers who mainly now are EDH players, I think. And like they've been clamoring for a whole bunch of reprints for a long time. And like Pleasant Kenobi and the Professor and stuff with their, whole fetch land thing, which, I get and I agree with, have been kind of pushing the reprint button a lot, hoping to get a response. And I think they finally got a response.
Yeah. So, some of the things that got that have been announced as being reprinted. are Azusa, Lost But Seeking.
Yeah, this is crazy that it's a rare, right?
Yeah. It was a rare in the master set it was in, because it was in M25.
Right, but that's not a standard legal set that gets mass produced.
Yeah. But yeah, Azusa at rare is kind of crazy. Azusa, this version is pre-selling for $14.
Yeah.
So
How much did you pay for your Azusas?
I think I probably got them for 10 to 12. Okay. Again, in that like sweet like 3 weeks where all the cards crash after a new set comes out.
Yeah.
And so like I got mine then. I didn't pay a ton for them.
Okay. I paid more than that for them, but I don't think I paid what they were before the set came out. I want to say they were up around like $50 or $60 before the reprint.
Yeah, so this card is a modern staple.
Yep.
It's played in the Amulet Titan decks. In addition to being a modern staple, Azusa also being just a card that ramps you is a card that we'll see play in Commander.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely going to see play in Standard and Pioneer also.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous because Azusa lets you play 2 extra lands, correct?
Yeah, 2 extra.
Yeah, so and the way green standard decks are built right now with Growth Spiral, Uro, and Arboreal Grazer, they're kind of set up for you to play 30 lands.
Right.
So you're always going to be able to, in theory, go like Azusa, at least play 1 land, if not 2.
Yeah, this is actually kind of insane that Azusa is in the same standard as the Dryad, right? Like we have 2 cards that let you play additional lands on your turn.
They both cost standard. 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the Dryad doesn't get played in standard, like hardly at all. It's kind of
I mean it like people were testing it out when it first got spoiled, but yeah, it really hasn't stuck anywhere.
Yeah, it's kind of hard with like Uro there, but you are like going to have a point where like Grazer and Growth Spiral leave.
Yeah.
And then you're just going to have like all these 3 mana things that just let you go from 3 to 4 or 5 by the end of your turn.
Mm-hmm.
I think Azusa's going to see play. I don't think you run out and pre-order it.
No, it's going to, especially being at rare, it's not going to stick at $13, $14.
Yeah, typically pre-release is the highest price for most cards. Yep. The cards that people miss at pre-release that are like, I think this might be good, but I'm not sure. And then it ends up just dominating, like Uro. Like I think Uro's
Jace Vryn's Prodigy.
Yeah, like Uro's were $20, and now
I think they were under $20.
And then now they're 35 or 40. I saw a buy list from Cape Fear Games for $25.
Wow.
For an Uro, and I was like, holy crap. Pre-buying cards right now, not the thing to do, especially with the fact that where are you going to play these cards?
That's very true.
Like, there's no reason to run out and, like, buy your Azuzas. Now, I'm saying this as I got, like, stacks and stacks and stacks of cards today. But, yeah. So next up was the one that I think last week when you said its name, I was like, wow.
Yeah. Grim Tutor.
Yeah.
It's currently pre-selling for $34.99. This was like a $220-ish card like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So this was kind of what started this kind of like section, was just like, I can't imagine being the person who spent $200 on a Grim Tutor.
Yeah.
And now it's $35, and realistically that price is going to go down. I assume.
Well, I mean, it's definitely going to go down. The just because of collector boosters, man. Like collector boosters are doing strange things to the singles market. Why are you going to buy a regular pack Grim Tutor when you can buy an extended art or an extended art foil or whatever?
Yeah, but if you're just someone who wants a Grim Tutor when they're $8 to $10,
oh yeah, yep,
they're going to be like easy to come by. They're not a card that's good enough to be played in Legacy or to be played in Modern.
Right.
I've seen people talking about them maybe in Pioneer, but
what are you trying to piece together in Pioneer?
Someone had mentioned it for Inverter. Like you could see maybe playing like 1 or something to be an extra Thassa's Oracle and an extra Inverter. I don't know if that's right, but I don't
know. Like 3 mana seems like a lot for that deck, though. That deck's kind of mana hungry.
It is, but it's not going to be a card that's going to be played a whole bunch of places. Now, there might be more people that, like if you go to EDH Rec or one of the EDH like deck sites, I'm sure that the number of decks that would want a Grim Tutor and the number of decks that actually have a Grim Tutor are different because Grim Tutor costs $200.
Okay, well here's something for you to think about though. That's a format where Demonic Tutor is legal. And Demonic Tutor has been reprinted twice within the last 12 months and is $36 for the cheapest version. This is a worse Demonic Tutor.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to hold the $35 price tag.
Yeah.
But
I don't like knowing that. I don't see how it can.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was going to say, like, I think it could be $8 to $10. It might be a little bit more if there's more of a demand from people who've wanted Grim Tutors,
right?
But couldn't justify spending $200.
Yep.
But I feel bad for the person who saved up and 2 months ago got their Grim Tutor. Like they were like, okay, I can either get this Grim Tutor or I can get this Scrubland.
Right.
I'm going to get the Grim Tutor. And they could have had
were made.
Yeah, they could have had a Scrubland and a Grim Tutor.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh.
Now, I had mentioned this before the show started also, but if you are that person that went out and bought, I guess it's starter 99 Grim Tutor, don't feel too bad. Sets like Portal and starter 99 are super low print runs that were, even at the time they were released, they were hard to find, like places you couldn't really go out and buy them. They were like strictly a new player product that were, not every store carried. So there's not many of the originals out there. That's why the price is so high. And there are 100% still going to be collectors willing to pay a premium for, the starter 99 version of this card. Because there's so few out there, I really don't see the value of the originals tanking a whole lot. But I do see, just because there's so many more entering the market, I think the new ones are going to be significantly cheaper.
Yeah. So next up is Containment Priest.
Mm-hmm. This is a weird one.
So it's 1 on the white for a flash 2/1. Mm-hmm. And when it's on the battlefield, if a creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, if a non-token creature would enter the battlefield that wasn't cast, you exile that creature.
Right.
It's not May, it just goes away.
Yep.
So this was a Commander 2014?
14, I think. The monocolored Planeswalker ones.
Yeah. It was in the Nihiri Planeswalker. Yep. And then it was reprinted one other time.
Mm-hmm.
And it is
Ultimate Masters, right?
I think so. And it is pre-ordering right now on Star City for $2.
Yep.
This is probably on its way to $1. Like, I don't see it going over $2.
Oh, no. I bet you it's under $1.
Yeah, because it's going to see sideboard play. Yeah. It's going to be like a 1 or 2 of in like humans. Yep. And in Death and Taxes in Modern. Mm-hmm. And it'll see a little bit of play in Standard, but it's never going to be a 4 of in any deck.
Yep, probably just sideboard play unless there's a dedicated Hate Bear strategy.
Yeah, but even then, like, you don't want the Containment Priest
right
as your, like, one of your Hate Bears.
Right.
Because you want all your Hate Bears to do something every game.
Yeah.
So, and then next up is Eugene.
Yeah, Big Daddy. $30. I didn't realize he was pre-ordered for $30.
Yeah. This is another one that probably doesn't hold that price. Though
you don't think so?
I don't know. Like $30.
I bet you he does.
Okay. I guess $30 is a lot for a standard set mythic. Like, think about how many.
He was $30 his entire time in Standard when he was first printed.
Oh, he was? Okay. I was just thinking like,
well, I mean, I can look it up right here. I'm pretty sure he was.
I was just thinking about like Uro. Like we look at Uro and we're like, oh man, Uro's like $50. Like that's crazy. But Uro's like a 4 of in the best legacy deck, a 4 of in the best modern deck, a 4 of in the one of the best pioneer decks, and a 4 of in the best standard deck, and it's 50.
Yeah.
So
the lowest Ugin has ever been was during Kaladesh, and he was $23.
Okay, well maybe $30 is the right price.
Yeah, he was $34 to $30 his time in standard.
Okay, and I think he will get played in standard.
Oh, there is no doubt in my mind he will get played in standard.
Getting to 8 is trivial in standard.
Yeah. Yes.
And
especially with some cards that we're getting.
Yes, and then we have Ruined Halo.
Hang on, I wanted to talk a little bit more about Ugin, or did you want me to wait to do that?
No, go ahead. Talk about Ugin.
So we said Ugin will see play in standard, and he sees play in, I think, every other format. Like, he definitely sees modern play.
Yes.
Does he see play in, like, post decks?
He is. Yes, he is a payoff in Cloud Post. I was going to preface it with not real legacy decks.
Well, okay, sure.
Tier 2 legacy decks love them some Ugin. And some Dragon Lord Dramoka.
Ooh, spicy.
Yeah.
There's also, I don't know if I talked about this on the show, but there's a rumor that Tron lands are going to be in Double Masters.
Okay.
That with an Ugin reprint and Karn's going to be in Double Masters may lead people into buying into Tron for Modern. So, like, is there something else that people might be able to spec on to make a little bit of money on the people trying to buy into Tron?
It's hard. Like, we have a list here, but I think it's hard because I don't know how much wiggle room is in a lot of the cards. Like, I don't know, like, aren't worm coils like $20 or $25?
I think they're more than that. And actually, I have in the notes here that I wouldn't be surprised if worm coil was in Double Masters also.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense.
Yeah.
Like, and O-Stone was recently reprinted. It was reprinted in Iconic Masters.
Yeah, and Stirrings was recently reprinted twice. It was in Mystery Boosters and one of the, I forget if it was Iconic or Masters 25 or whatever.
Yeah, and it's an uncommon, so that's kind of hard. Because there was a point where Ancient Stirrings were $5 a piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if there is a good, like, place to get in.
What about I have here like Expedition Map, like they're kind of expensive for no reason and like have dodged a whole bunch of reprints. Do you think there's a reprint coming? Or
I don't know. Wasn't the last one like Modern Masters 3?
Was it actually in Modern Masters 3? I didn't think that it had a reprint.
Or is it what Modern Masters 2? The one where the two round things are facing each or like back to back. I'm holding up my hands like you can see them.
It was 15. So 2, yeah.
2, okay. So yeah, I mean, you could maybe get it on maps. I don't know how much room they have to go up.
Yeah.
Right? Are people not gonna really spend $10 for a map?
Well, I mean, if you can get discount Karns and Ugins, then maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say like if you're already like $200 in on Karns, you're like screw it, I'm getting the maps.
Yeah.
So maybe I was thinking like. Do they still play, they
still play the eggs, right?
They play
Stars and Spheres.
Stars and Spheres, but is it Temple of the Forgotten Gods? The land that if you pay a big colorless thing, it lets you go get...
Ugin Sanctum?
Ugin Sanctum. Yeah, it lets you go get
something expensive.
Something colorless, because you get a colorless creature. Yeah. Also, like World Breakers, they sometimes play.
Mm-hmm.
Like there might be.
What about Ulamogs?
Yeah, I don't know how much Ulamogs are.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of expensive, but that's new enough that it's probably going to dodge a reprint for a year or two.
Yeah, yeah. We're not super sure on this, so I don't want to see in the finance Discord that someone didn't make rent.
You guys are idiots.
Yeah, I bought 75 Ulamogs. Like, pump your brakes. I guess the next reprint is Ruined Halo, which I remember when
kind of a weird one.
But I remember when Ruined Halo was like $10 or $15.
I think it was more than that at one point.
Yeah, they were a lot.
I remember being priced out of Ruined Halo. Like, I was building a deck list that wanted Rune Halo in the sideboard, and I was like, there's no way I'm paying that kind of money for that.
Yeah. And now they're pre-selling for $1. Like, this card is going to see maybe some sideboard play in Pioneer.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to get any more like saturated in Modern because it's already legal there. And I don't think it's standard playable. This is going to be like a quarter.
So I just looked it up, during Rivals to Ixalan, when Rivals released, it went from $22 to $40.
Holy God.
Yeah, and then it stayed around $40 through Guilds, and then it dropped off.
It got a reprint.
Oh, that's right. It was an Ultimate Masters.
Yeah. That's where mine are from.
Yep.
Okay, so we'll talk a few other reprints that are in the set at the higher rarity.
Mm-hmm.
We're not blowing any of the cool grading of cards.
Right.
Right. So we have Massacre Worm.
Mm-hmm.
3 black for a 6/5. When it enters the battlefield, creatures your opponent's control get -2/-2 until end of turn. Whenever a creature an opponent control dies, that player loses 2 life.
Seems pretty good.
I've never seen this card on the battlefield outside of Cube.
Really?
Yes, never. Now, do I think that getting to 3 black in current standard is trivial? Yes.
Yeah.
And do I think that this is going to be a way to just obliterate some mono red decks?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're just going to ramp into this and you're just going to destroy their whole board?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
well, I mean, we already have Massacre Girl, which is a full black mana symbol less.
Yeah.
That has a higher upside, but doesn't have the additional text.
I don't know if you could argue that since it only hits your opponent's creatures, like it lets you.
Oh, that's true.
It lets you Paradise Druid into it. Now, granted, it doesn't get like an annex, but it probably just eats the annex if they attack. Because it's a 6/5. But yeah, like there is Massacre Girl and Massacre Worm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Star City doesn't have Massacre Worm up. Because that's where I was getting my pre-order prices from.
Okay. I think it was a pretty recent spoiler. It just might not have been up yet.
Yeah, so...
Like it was leaked early, but I think the actual spoiler was just, 6 hours ago or whatever.
Yeah. So another card that is an oldie, but a goodie, I guess, is Baneslayer Angel.
Yeah, didn't we just have Baneslayer Angel in Standard?
Didn't we have we've had knockoff Baneslayer Angels?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was talking about
Lyra. Yeah. I forgot about Lyra. When we were talking about it, we're not sure if Baneslayer Angel is playable.
Yeah, like Baneslayer Angel, when it was in Standard, was like the thing to be doing.
Yes.
Like that's what shaped the meta, was Baneslayer Angel. And yeah, like currently I don't think that it does anything.
Well, what I was saying was Lyra was good, but Lyra was like a sideboard card.
Right, it was a sideboard card out of control decks.
Yeah, so like Baneslayer might just fill that role, but I forget how much.
I don't even know if they want it though, because they have Yorion.
Yeah, they have Yorion, and they have Krasis.
Yeah,
like fine, I'll gain some life and draw some cards, but Baneslayer Angel right now is $5.
Yeah,
I don't know if Baneslayer Angel holds that price.
I don't think so.
Because there are so many Baneslayer Angels in the world. Because wasn't it part of like a bunch of cards that got printed like 3 core sets in a row or something?
I'm not sure. Oh yeah, 2010, 2011 from the Vault Angels, and it was a promo for Duels of the Planeswalkers.
Yeah, so there's a lot of them.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be hard for them to, like, even the old, even the old ones. I just went and looked up. Even the old ones are like $7.
Yeah, and
that's before a like giant reprint.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like none of these reprints. I mean, other than Ugin, but none of these reprints are like run out and buy them. Not even Ugin.
Right.
Like I wouldn't run out and buy any of these. Like I would just wait because they're gonna work their way down.
Yeah, I don't know how much Yugen's going to work its way down. I wouldn't
Yeah.
be surprised if it held $30 for its duration in standard and then went back up afterwards. But
Like, I would rather wait and see if it goes to 25
oh yeah,
than like pre-order stuff.
Yep.
So, yeah, I don't think there are any other, what are they called?
reprints,
Reprints
$5 reprint.
that we need to talk about.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
There are some wild cards in this set.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about the new Thragtusk?
Yeah.
I know we had like a little mini discussion on it before the show. I
That's
didn't know
fine.
if you wanted to.
All right, so it's Elder Gargoth. Gargaroth.
Yeah.
It's 3 green.
Yep.
For a 6/6. This continues R&D's long-standing policy that if it's a number and then green, you can put any amount of text on it you want because that is just too restrictive of mana cost for anyone to cast.
Yeah,
2
what started
green
this?
symbols.
It was like Verdurous Gearhulk, right?
Verdurous Gearhulk was like, here's 8/8 worth of stats.
Yeah, trampling,
and then we have Shifting Ceratops,
Yeah, Questing Beast.
Questing Beast. Yeah, okay. So, something green, you can just write whatever you want on it. So it's a 6/6 with Vigilance, Reach, and Trample.
So many keywords.
So many keywords. It's like, hey, how many keywords did we give Questing Beast? This one needs more.
Yeah, it attacks, it blocks, it goes over the top.
Yeah. Whatever it attacks or blocks, choose one. Make a 3/3 beast. You gain 3 life.
Or you draw a card.
All right, cool. Is this card playable in current standard?
No? Question mark?
I don't think so either. Like, we could be wrong, but I just look at it as it's a 5 mana card that doesn't do anything when it enters the battlefield.
Yeah, it gets bounced by Teferi.
It's fighting for space with, like, Nissa. Right?
Oh, yeah, and this is just better.
Like, Nissa is just better.
It's harder
like,
to interact with.
Yeah, you get a 3/3 haste every turn, and it doubles your mana. Like, the 5 mana slot in the green decks is just, it's Nissa and then just doing big dumb stuff. Because, like, the turn 5 slot isn't 5 mana, it's 10 mana. Right?
So, I just realized on this thing that, like, I knew that it read this way when I first read the card, but this has Vigilance.
It does.
So, like, if it doesn't immediately eat a removal spell or a Teferi bounce or whatever, like, you're going to get some pretty serious value out of it.
You will.
Because it's going to block, attack.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting 2 triggers per turn cycle.
You are. But I just think about the, how many times it's just going to be played and then immediately die.
Yeah.
Or get bounced. And I know that the dies to Doomblade argument is really crappy and no one likes it.
Yeah. But it's true when, like, everything else in the format enters the battlefield and then affects the battlefield.
Yeah.
Like, dies to Doomblade is very true.
Or, like, pays you off
Right.
as soon as it comes in the battlefield. Right? Like, you have this, or you have an Uro, which I know you have to do a little bit of work for your Uro, but when you play your Uro the first time, it draws you a card, it gains you 3 life.
Right.
It's 1 turn cycle of this block and attack. And then Uro puts a land into play.
Right.
And then when you play your Uro, it does it again. And Uro does 2 of these things whenever it attacks.
Right. So it's kind of the same card, but better. And it has recursion built in.
Yeah, and it's just stickier. Right, I think there's just better things for green decks to ramp into.
Yeah, probably.
But it's weird looking at a card that is like this ridiculously pushed and being like, nah, probably not. Now, it could be playable in 3 months if you think back to Doom Whisperer.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It was just best in slot when everything rotated.
Yeah, when it, like, because I got frustrated by that card. It's like, this card is not good enough. But
I mean, I said that a ton of times. Like, I played the hell out of that deck, and I said that a ton of times, that Golgari midrange.
Yeah.
That it needs something at the top and this is all you have. Like, I think I actually remember showing you the deck list I was going to play at like an RPTQ or something, and you were like, Doom Whisperer, really?
Yeah, it's just...
And I think I said, you tell me a card to put in that slot.
And there isn't anything. So when we go to 5-set standard, maybe this has a home.
It could. It's also a beast, so it kind of fits in with like Kahira.
Oh gosh, yeah. Okay.
And if you're playing green, you're playing a bunch of creatures, it kind of fits in with Umori.
Yeah, though, again, I don't know if we can play Umori.
Yeah, I don't know if you can either.
But, yeah, it's just weird, like, looking at a card and being like, oh, every card in Standard has to, like, pay you when it comes into play, and this does not pay me.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it's good enough. Because, like, right now it's $15. I don't see this being a $15 card.
No, me neither.
Like, it's unplayable in all non-standard formats. And we're not sure if it's playable in Standard.
Yeah, it's just kind of keyword big everywhere else, and keyword big's not good enough.
Yeah. When you're just Uroing stuff all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. So, that's a little bit of finance, a little bit of new stuff for the cards. For the cards coming out in Core 21. We are going to do our, like, kind of full set breakdown next time.
Yeah.
I guess
like 2 weeks, probably?
Yeah, 2 weeks. I guess there's one more thing. It's not so much about the card. It's about Wizards trying to separate you from dollar bills.
Holy moly, yeah.
So, Teferi, the new one, whatever he's called.
Right. Teferi, emptier of wallets.
Yeah. Has 4 different standard pack printings.
Well, 5 if you count the showcase frame, right?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking, like, not showcase frames, but just regular mythics.
Yeah.
It has 4 different printings.
Yeah.
The art of, like, the magic that's in front of him and the landscape behind him is, like, subtly, nearly imperceptibly different.
Nearly imperceptibly. Like, when this was spoiled on whatever that weird game show thing was that they did, I was watching.
So was I.
And I could not tell the difference between the arts.
I had to find a GIF where they cycled through the 4 arts.
Yeah.
And you could kind of see that parts of it get darker.
Yeah.
But it is super hard to see. So just like when Throne of Eldraine happened, and you were like, I don't like these showcase things because I opened 4 Murderous Riders, and I have a pack 1, a pack foil, a showcase, and a showcase foil. I have 4 of them. None of them match.
Yeah.
If you open 2 Teferis, odds are they're not going to match. They have different collector numbers as well.
Oh, do they? I didn't realize that. So I guess that makes sense.
So the first art takes the slot that it should come in the set. So whatever Teferi should be in blue, it's, card 70 or whatever.
Yeah.
But then the other ones have numbers that are, I think, outside of the normal set numbers.
Still be like 300 or something.
Yeah, and I don't think they're usually like, even the cards from the welcome decks and stuff might be like 285 of 279. Yeah. I think these are just like 285. There's not an out of. These, I haven't been able to, I didn't zoom in on them super close, but it didn't look like there was a slash. What's interesting is I think because of how the weird arts, Star City doesn't have them listed to pre-order. They just don't exist on Star City.
I was just on Mythic Spoiler to look up the number thing you were just talking about, just because I wanted to see, and it does have a link to pre-order these on TCG Player.
Okay,
they're $43.16 currently.
Whew.
And $100 for a pack foil.
Oh my God.
Yep.
That is a lot of dollar bills.
It is.
I think that is like the blue-white Teferis doing a lot of marketing for this guy.
I think that takes something away from this guy. I think this guy's better than that does. But I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's good, but I don't know, like, really? Like, $42?
Yeah.
And it doesn't, like, give you any card advantage, right? You get card selection. You don't get card advantage.
That's true.
But, like, I saw people talk about it, like, in Commander.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
you get to use his ability every turn.
But one trip around the table,
yeah,
he's at 7.
Right.
By the time it gets back to you, you take 2 turns.
How does that work with the Chain Veil? Can you activate the Chain Veil on someone else's turn?
You're asking me questions that I've never even thought about the Chain Veil. Like, I know what it is, but...
Yeah. For each planeswalker you control, you may activate one of its loyalty abilities once this turn, as though none of its loyalty abilities have been activated this turn. So you can use the Chain Veil on your opponent's turn to let you use Teferi twice on your opponent's turn.
Yeah, but if you just go, like, your turn, he comes back at 7 in a regular commander pod.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Is it 11 by the time he gets back to you?
Yeah. And then you take 2 turns.
And then he's back at 3?
I guess so, yeah. But just the fact that they have 4 different arts, and, like, even on the TCG link, I don't know where the other arts are.
Yeah.
I don't know why they decided to do that, especially, like, at a Mythic.
Yeah, it's really strange.
It'd be different if it was, like, Hymn to Turok. You know, if you were playing Fallen Empires, I'm sure you just had hundreds of Hymn to Turoks.
I did. I still do.
Yeah, right. But... So they had 4 different arts, but they're commons. Mm-hmm. You're going to get all 4 arts.
Yeah, and Fallen Empires was like $1 a pack.
Yeah. This is like a Mythic.
Right.
And so even if you get 2 that are different and you have someone who's willing to trade, they have to have the art that you want.
Right.
It just seems like they're adding, like, needless, like, complexity to even the collection process.
Yeah.
It's not like you look at them and you're like, oh man, this is so neat. It tells this cool story about his time magic. Look at all this cool art.
Yeah, almost imperceptible.
You're just like, what is different? Like, they have to all be sitting there, and then you have to like really look.
Yeah,
I feel like I'm the dude from Mallrats that's trying to see the schooner.
It's a schooner.
It's a boat. A schooner is a boat. Right? Like, I'm just like, no, I don't see the magic eye trick. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Okay. So this kind of leads into this, some arena stuff, and that is historic.
Okay.
Now, we have not, on this podcast, been the biggest fans of historic because we've not felt like that you're playing for something, right? I think both of us are paper players, so we look at arena as a way to prepare for paper. It's like, I can't play in person because, I don't know, I might get a virus and die. So I'm going to play on my computer because if my computer gets a virus and dies, I can just buy another computer.
Right, can't buy another Brian.
No, I'm very fragile. So I played the F&M at home historic event just because, I don't know, I don't feel like figuring out standard for like 2 weeks.
Right. It's all going to change and won't matter.
So I'm just like, all right, cool. So, and my first thought when playing this was, wow, this is a pretty diverse format. Right? Like, I think I posted in the Discord that I only played against like one deck more than one time. And that was, I played against a treasure hunt deck, which the verdict is out on whether that's a deck, though I did lose to it twice. But it wasn't like standard where you were running into like the same 3 decks over and over and over again, and you weren't running into the same cards. Right?
Okay.
Even if you're not playing against the exact same deck in standard, right? You know, if they play a forest, you're like, okay, cool. When's the Uro? When's the growth spiral? It's like, ooh, they're black, I get casualty dwarves. Ooh, they're white, I get Elspeth Conquers Death. Ooh, variety.
Yeah.
Right? this was like kind of wildly different strategies, playing
That's
just
good.
like random cards, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I haven't seen that card played before. Like you ran into like dinosaurs, like someone was hyped to get to play their dinosaur cards. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, like it's a girl aggro deck, but it's dinosaurs instead of like the normal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a bad person.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, what's all this Winota stuff I'm hearing about?
What's the most degenerate thing possible I can do in a format?
Mm-hmm.
Check and check.
Winota was busted.
Yeah.
Was busted. So immediately when they finished the historic F&M, they went into the historic shakeup, which they did the classic thing where they like banned some cards out of the format.
Yeah, actually, they banned a bunch of cards, right? That list was pretty long.
I counted it was 26 cards,
Yeah.
with 12 of them being currently legal and standard.
Whew.
So,
Fire.
well, 12 that were currently legal in standard or that had been banned in standard already.
Okay.
All right. So that format didn't have Winota.
Yeah.
And so, again, it was pretty diverse. I think I got 10 wins Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in the format.
Oh, wow.
So for the historic shakeup, I was just playing cycling
Mhm.
because you get to go. I posted the deck. You get to go up lands. I was playing 22 lands because you get to play the 8 cycling lands that are red and white. Good times. And deck's fine. As the weekend went on, things started to kind of coalesce a little bit. There was a lot of hardened steel, or tempered steel, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I played against that deck a couple times when I was trying to get my wins.
Yeah, there was a lot of tempered steel towards the end, and I'm trying to think what the other deck I played a number of times was.
Explosive, man. It just kind of like wins out of nowhere sometimes.
Yeah, like I had an opponent that went like Ginger Brute into Steel Overseer into 3 1-drops into Unbreakable formation. Like that was their draw, and I was like, oh, I can never beat that.
Yep. Pack it up, boys.
Yeah, they drew 4 lands, and the last turn of the game was play a 1/1 Stonecoil Serpent, Unbreakable formation, attack, tap my Steel Overseer.
Whew.
And I was just like, yeah, cool. You saw 11 cards this game or something, and they were the perfect 11 cards. No one in the format beats those 11 cards. The format does skew a little aggressive, but by and large, it has been pretty enjoyable. And I was looking at the format and trying to figure out kind of how to use the format for paper.
Is like a way to test Pioneer, you mean?
Yeah, it's a way to test Pioneer, or you're not going to test the format, but you can see decks that you can take the kind of the core of it, move it to Pioneer, but you can see if you like the play patterns.
Yeah.
So I was all excited. I have here in front of me, let's shake it.
Ooh, I hear it.
Yeah. I had a Winota Pioneer deck because I was like, hey, this is busted in Historic. We can make it way better in Pioneer. You guys should get on some Winota so you can see if it's the kind of deck you'd want to play in Pioneer. They banned Winota at 3 o'clock today. 3 o'clock Monday, it's gone. It is no longer Historic legal.
Yeah. Well, suspended.
Suspended. They're like, if we ban it, I'm like, you are banning this. This card is never coming off of suspension. And
Winota's been a bad girl.
Let me tell you why. On turn 3, my opponent was at 19. I had played a Llanowar Elf, and I had played, what's the Enraptured guy? The 2/3 that makes a 3/2 reflection.
Aliros or whatever?
Aliros Enraptured. That was my turn 2. Turn 3, I went Neoform and then attack with 2 things, and I think I did 38 damage on turn 3.
Holy moly.
I think I got 2 Angrass Marauders, which if you have 2, it does quadruple the damage.
Whew.
So I think I did like 16, and then like it was an absurd number. On turn 3.
Man.
Like, not okay. Yeah, now, I see smushing people on turn 3 in Historic, and I think there are way better cards than Pioneer, and all of these cards are still legal. So that kind of got me thinking about, like, well, if you find a deck that, like, part of it can, like, move over, you might not end up with a tier 1 Pioneer deck, but if you find, like, a tier 2 deck that you can enjoy playing and win some games with, that you can, like, work the kinks out in Historic, or at least figure out the lines, might as well. Yeah. So, I was all there for you for Winota, but Winota's dead now. But I will talk about my idea for Pioneer for the people here.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I saw you had some other ideas here that I somehow missed.
Yeah, I started working through these today. So, Jeff Hoogland has been doing Hooglandia tournaments.
Hooglandia.
Right. And
what a name.
Their last Hooglandia tournament, like 6 of the top 9 were, was it 4-color Winota? But they were Amori decks.
Yeah.
So they had the 4 Winotas, but were finding their Winotas with Fauna Shaman.
Okay.
Right. But I think that kind of a better analog to what you'd want to do in Pioneer were the 4-color standard decks, where you're using, in standard, you were using Neoform to find your extra Winotas, right? To turn your 3-drops into Winotas.
Right.
Well, you have Eldritch Evolution in Pioneer. It costs an extra mana, but if you slammed a 3-drop on turn 2, you should probably have 3 mana on turn 3.
Right. It also lets you, I don't know if you run 2-drops, but it lets you turn a 2-drop into Winota also.
Yes. Yeah, so it gives you a little more flexibility. What the deck's trying to do is you're trying to get a Winota on the battlefield, and you're trying to get Angrass Marauders onto the battlefield. So like we talked about, it just gives basically all of your stuff double strike.
Yeah.
So the things that are kind of better about the deck in Pioneer are you get 8 elves, you get 4 Elvish Mystics, and you get 4 Llanowar Elves. The standard version was playing Gilded Goose, and same with the historic version. But with Gilded Goose, it's awkward because there are times that you want to play your 3-drop on turn 2, but now you don't have a food to play your Winota on turn 4, or on turn 3.
That kind of stinks.
Yeah, so having the elves that are just going to let you go 3 into 4 is really good. You also get the best token-making 3-drop in all of Magic, which is
you do.
Goblin Rabblemaster.
Ooh,
so
I like giving him double strike.
Yeah, so the Aliros, that goes away for Goblin Rabblemaster. So now we've cut the blue out, basically, right? Neoform's gone for Eldritch Evolution. Aliros is gone for Rabblemaster. This is something that I like. I'm sure if you played this in Pioneer, your mileage may vary. I like the idea of having Sirach Dragonclaw. Now he brings the blue back in, but you're never casting this guy. That's not what this game's about. So he's 2 in Teamer for a 6/6 that has Flash. He can't be countered. Creature spells he control can't be countered. He's just a wall of text. Totally unplayable in standard in his time. And other creatures you control have trample. So
plays good with double strike.
Really good.
It's like build your own Embercleave for everything.
Yeah. So I was like,
cleave the team.
You could cut your Haktoses for your Sirach Dragonclaws.
Oh yeah, I like that.
And if you wanted to have a little bit of blue mana and to have more untapped green sources, you could play some mana confluences.
Yep.
Right?
Pretty easily.
Yeah. So you have this, your other 3-drop would be Legion Warboss, another token maker. The other kind of big thing to put in could be Kenrith. And Kenrith also gives you the out of, if you have a spare red mana, he can give yourself trample as well. Right? So if you, on turn 4, drew your Winota, right, and you had an elf, you could leave up a red, play your Winota, attack, and then give all yourself trample if you hit a Kenrith.
Right.
And
That's pretty good.
And it's just a giant 5/5. And then I had 2 Bone Crusher Giants for a little interaction. I cut them down. I initially had 4, but what you brought up was the 2-drops. And so the best 2-drop, you want a 2-drop that leaves a body. And
didn't we just have one of those?
Goblin Instigator.
Yeah.
So I was at 3 Goblin Instigators because that gives you another draw that doesn't involve an elf that gets to go 2-drop into Evolution and get a Winota. So it just gives you another like kind of nut draw where you don't have to have an elf, where just Eldritch Evolution is going to get you to your Winota, and you're going to have a guy to get 1 trigger.
Right.
And the deck would have a reasonable backup plan of just like Rabble Mastering people.
Mm-hmm.
Like against
especially if you're on Rabble Master and War Boss.
Yeah.
That's a lot of tokens.
Yeah, just turn 2, like the deck is basically set up that turn 2 you're going to have a 2/2 that makes a 1/1 haste guy. Like every game with 8 elves and 8 of this effect.
Yeah, and like that was borderline a modern strategy also.
That was like the original like Pioneer Gruul decks were just like how many Rabble Masters can I get onto the battlefield?
Mm-hmm.
And this
turn 2.
Yeah, and this just has kind of a combo kill in it as well. Yep. And the mana base, if we're going to go all out here, was like 4 Stomping Grounds, 4 Temple Gardens, 4 Sacred Foundries, probably 4 Rootbound Crags, and 2 Forests. And then the last spot is, I was like, well, you can have Mana Confluence, gives you some more white sources if you have to cast your Winota, gives you blue if you like draw your Sirach Dragonclaw. Mm-hmm. But I really think the deck's trying to win on like turn 4. So
I think so too.
And you want, like, when I was playing it in Historic, it was just, hey, I want to jam. Like, I always want to keep a hand that gets me a Winota. I want a card that is either a Winota or that can become a Winota in my hand in a way to, like, do it on turn 3.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, I can't tell you to, like, play it in Historic because they killed it. But I also think that if they kill a card in Historic, it's probably good enough for Pioneer.
Probably. I think you're right.
And if you can kill people on turn 3 in Pioneer, seems good.
That's faster than Inverter, right?
Yeah, Inverter is turn 4, 5 on a good day.
Yep.
Now, there is better interaction, and you are just kind of a dopey creature deck in Pioneer, but is at least worth something to try. And other than the lands, I think the most expensive cards are $5. Like, Rabble Masters are $5 and Winotas are $5.
I mean, it seems fun too.
Yeah. I was having a blast with it.
Yeah.
But again, that's the kind of Magic I play.
Yeah, but I think like Waterfall's decks in general are kind of fun.
Yeah. So another thing that I was like, what is happening here? And then I died was Jund Storm Herald. Have you seen this at all?
I have not. I was kind of reading through a little bit while you were talking about Winota.
So Storm Herald is the 3/2 with haste for 2 and a red. Yeah. That when it comes in the battlefield, you can put any number of creature auras from the graveyard onto Storm Herald, and then at the end of turn, they get exiled.
Okay.
So this deck was filling its graveyard, playing Storm Herald, and putting Prodigious Growth, which is 3 green, I do believe, for target creature gets enchanted creature gets +7/+7, and plays Ancestral Mask, which is target creature gets enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each enchantment you control. Now, Pioneer doesn't have Ancestral Mask. Ancestral Mask is a card that was thrown into Historic.
Yeah, so one of the Historic bundles
anthologies,
or whatever.
Yeah. So you lose that, but it plays some pretty god-awful cards. Yeah. So to fill its graveyard, it plays the best card to do that, which is Citrus Supplier, and then Mire Triton, which is fine.
Yeah, it's acceptable.
Yeah, and then Cathartic Reunion to discard, your Prodigious Growth. Prodigious Growth is 4 green. To discard your enchantments, right? It plays Succession Training, which is just awful. But it's there to like cycle when you like have a Mire Triton out or something, just to like get you a little bit deeper in your deck.
Well, it also gives trample.
It does, but Storm Herald comes with. Oh, I guess he only comes with haste, but the Prodigious Growth comes with trample.
Right.
has binding.
What about the +20/+20 thing?
It taps him.
Right, but if it's already attacking,
no,
it's not on attack. It's ETB.
It's ETB. So
yeah, that sucks.
It would tap him. The Arena Boys played a deck where they were doing that.
Yeah.
But they were also playing Claim the Firstborn. So you would Storm Herald. You put the Colossification on him and tap him, and then you would untap him with your Claim the Firstborn.
That's spicy.
Please don't do that, anyone.
At least not to you, right?
Yeah, not to me, please. And then it has Binding of the Titans, which is the saga that each player mills 3, and then you get to exile 2 cards from a graveyard, and you get to return a creature or land from your graveyard to your hand.
Yeah, it seems all right.
And it plays Teferis Calls the Dead, which is 3 mana. Yeah, and you just mill, and you get to eat stuff to make zombies. All right.
So this deck is Jund.
It is Jund.
And it looks like you're reasonably heavy black. Like all of your low drops are black.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Ashiok would be better than Teferis Calls the Dead or Binding of the Titans.
So, in Historic, maybe. I thought about that as well. Like, just mill yourself for 4 and exile their graveyard. I think it might be, like, Teferis Calls the Dead does give you some bodies to randomly block stuff.
Yeah.
But I think Ashiok would just be kind of more all in on getting you cards in your graveyard. But the kind of the thing that is cute is Call of the Death Dweller.
Yeah.
So that gives you 4 extra Storm Heralds, so you don't care if you mill them.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of cute.
So you can just turbo mill yourself, and you've got 8 Storm Heralds, and if you have a Call of the Death Dweller, you're just flipping your deck over to hit your Storm Herald. And the fact that it gives it Menace and Death Touch is really good when it also has Trample.
This is true.
Yes. So I got clowned. Guy was like, brought his his Storm Herald, played it, and I was like, okay. And I couldn't quite read. I couldn't read the first number for some reason. I just knew it was at something 29, and I was like, oh, why is it? I was like, whatever, it's fine. Couldn't block because it had Menace, and I took 35.
Wow.
And I was like, I guess I was just dead. That was only 5 auras. There were 5 auras on it, and I took 35. So I was like, okay. Again, this seems like it would be like a tier 2, like firmly tier 2 Pioneer deck. But there are some like huge upgrades in the mill package that you would get in Pioneer. The first being secretly the best card in Pioneer, which is Satyr Wayfinder.
My boy.
Wait, 1 in a green, get a 1/1, flip the top 4 cards of your library, and put a land in your hand.
Yeah, if you care about that thing.
Yeah, you need your 3rd land.
That's true.
I don't care about anything else. You need your 3rd land. You also have Grizzly Salvage.
Which is 5 cards, right?
5 cards for black-green as an instant. Put a land or a creature in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that finds you your 3rd land to play your Storm Herald, or it finds you your Storm Herald. So you could take out your Mire Tritons for the Wayfinders, the Teferis Calls the Dead for the Grizzly Salvages. The card that you have to change because it's not Pioneer legal is Ancestral Mask. You could put in like Wolf's Mantle because that gives +4/+4.
Yeah.
There aren't any like big ridiculous enchantments other than Prodigious Growth and Colossification.
Well, you're never planning on casting this stuff, right?
Never.
And you have the Cathartic Reunion to pitch copies in your hand.
Yes.
So you could play like Ethereal Armor.
You could.
It's like +1/+1 for each enchantment.
Okay, that's reasonable.
Or I guess that doesn't work with Bestow though, right?
No. Like Boon Satyr?
Well, no, there was that Eidolon of Countless Battles.
Oh, yeah. It's equal to the number of creatures you control?
Well, it's enchantments and creatures.
Okay. Yeah, it wouldn't work with that, I don't think. I was thinking like if you went white, you could do like, was it Spectral Ward that gives +2/+2 and protection from all colors, but it specifically says on that card it does not make auras fall off.
Oh, okay.
It says this ability does not remove auras is part of the text on the card.
Yeah,
so,
that's like a 5 mana aura, right?
Yeah, it's like 3 white for +2/+2, but then it's just unblockable.
Right.
So you could kind of put together a reasonable deck, kind of build around Storm Herald. Again, other than the mana base, which since it's a 3-color deck, it's like basically the 12 shock lands, and some check lands.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the deck is like dirt cheap. Like Storm Heralds are 33 cents. Prodigious Growth
is
are like
bulk.
is a bulk card.
Yeah.
And then everything else is like an uncommon or a common.
Huh.
The sideboard has a few more expensive things. Like it has 4 Croxes in the board in this version.
Just to change it up, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you're playing against like a control deck that can like kill your Storm Heralds.
Yeah, you need a backup plan.
Right, you just kind of cut that. You could cut your, what is it called? Your like enchantment Storm Herald package and just become like, it looks like it just becomes like a Jund mid-range deck. They bring in Agonizing Remorse. Yeah. So you just get this like this kind of like just big mid-range deck. So this was something that like I got clowned by it and I was like, well, I don't know. And then like it happened again. I was like, okay, I know what's up now. The first time I had no clue. I just was like, went from like alive and like, I'm going to beat this person. I have no idea what they're doing to I'm super dead. The next time I knew it was happening.
Yeah.
And, well, cycling doesn't have a lot of 2-mana interaction. So, I got again.
The deck seems cool though.
Yeah, it's definitely doing something.
I might check that out when we finish up here tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I built it on Arena. I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Yeah.
But it's something different. Yeah. And like again, any deck that I get to play Satyr Wayfinder in is a good time.
That's right.
Yeah. So and then the last deck that is kind of near and dear to my heart is Kethis combo.
Oh, Kethis combo.
Yes. But if this is the kind of deck you like to play, the historic version is pretty much the version that was in standard.
Yeah.
And then the Pioneer version has a few like small upgrades that make a huge difference.
Yeah. You have down here Hope of Gyriper.
Yeah, Hope of Gyriper, when you have a Kethis out, is just free.
Right.
So you can just start looping those to mill yourself with Diligent Excavator. So it's just another 0-mana thing to mill yourself. And then the Planeswalker suite's a little different. In the in the historic version, they play Tamiyo. Okay. But the list I saw when I was looking at the Pioneer versions made a change that I had thought about doing, which is that they play Liliana, the Last Hope. Because her minus puts a creature from your graveyard into your hand, like puts 2 cards in your graveyard. So it kind of does the Tamiyo thing, like when Tamiyo minus is to pull a card out of your graveyard.
Yeah.
This kind of does the same thing. And in Pioneer, you have a legendary land in Urborg to give you more legends to feed to Kethis. That's the only legendary land in all of Pioneer.
Wow, that's weird.
Yes. Or the only legendary land that's playable on the deck, but I think it's the only legendary land, like, period. That is Pioneer legal. So, if Kethis combo is a thing that you like, if you like that kind of, like, fiddly stuff.
Yeah, and you do.
I do. But if you can get good at it in Historic, when you play it in Pioneer, you have to learn, like, see a few other lines that might be a little different, but you'll be like, oh, wow, like, this is, like, a turbocharged version of what I've been doing, and you're going to know the basic lines and kind of how to get around random things that like, show up.
Yeah.
You'll have seen a lot of those same, like, hate cards, let it be Leyline of the Void or Grafdigger's Cage, you're gonna know how to like sideboard for that, or you're gonna know how to like play around those things.
Yeah. The only other one that they get in Pioneer is Rest in Peace.
They do get Rest in Peace.
But you don't really play around that differently than you would like the other hate, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like if they play a Cage, it's kind of like having a Rest in Peace. You play a little bit different, but if they play a Leyline, you're just Rest in Peace.
Right.
You just have to get rid of it somehow.
Yeah.
So like you would like learn how to do that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So those are 3 like Pioneer decks. Well, they were 3. Now they're 2. Pioneer decks that are kind of different. They're not just like play Gruul aggro, play dinosaurs, play control. They're kind of 3 different decks that are doing something a little unique, and that at least you can get a taste for in Historic before you move on to try to put it together in Pioneer. Because you might think Kethis combo sounds cool, and then if you buy the cards for it and then you don't like it, right? But you can play it on Arena and be
or
like... Or
if you buy all the foils for it and then it gets shadow banned 4 times in a row.
I don't have all the foils for it. I have most of them, thank you. But yes.
Okay, sorry.
Yes. That the shadow ban is they kept banning things to affect other decks, and they just kept knocking cards out of my deck. It was Oath of Nissa, and then they banned something else too.
Yeah, well, it happened more than twice. I think it was like 3 bans in a row hit you without hit.
Yeah, without meaning. They weren't like, oh, Kethis combo is too good. They just blew up other decks and got me.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you doing this? What is going on? I'll tell you what cards they got.
Okay.
Let's see if I can figure it out. So I was like buying the foils. I have foil Emerys. Like I was there for it. They banned Oath of Nissa. Oh, Once Upon a Time.
Yeah,
that was another one. I did have like 2 Okos in the deck, and they got rid of Oko. Yeah, so those were the 3 bans that took out cards I had in the deck.
Yep.
And I'm sure I had a Veil of Summer in the sideboard, so 4.
Probably.
But Veil of Summer and Oko were not banned because one deck was too good. They were just banned because they were hideous, atrocious Magic cards. Once Upon a Time made green too good, but it was also a hideous, disgusting Magic card.
Yeah.
I think Oath of Nissa is fine.
Probably.
But they were trying to ban stuff without banning Leyline of Abundance.
Right.
And, well, they're like, oh, Oath of Nissa finds you stuff and leaves a devotion. Oh, they were trying to not ban Nykthos. Yeah. That's why they got rid of Oath. Yeah. So, yeah, Oath died for Nykthos' sins, and now no one plays Nykthos.
Yep.
Also, here's a finance tip for you. I have half of Inverter foiled out, so you should probably start selling your pieces because it's going to get banned now. Like that's what I'm doing with the store credit I'm getting from getting rid of all the stuff we got rid of recently.
All the bulk, yeah.
Yeah, it's
foiling out Inverter.
Foiling out Inverter. It looks pretty fancy. But yeah, so get out now because they're gonna ban dig through time, and then the deck's not gonna work. So I'm really looking smart with this financial decision.
Isn't that the way it always goes?
It is, and like I have Dark Depths foiled out. They're never gonna ban that deck, but it just can never beat an Oko. And like you're also racing like a turn 3 Uro, which puts them to 23.
Yeah.
And they have to be at 20. They can't be at 21 to be at 20. And 20. Yeah, 23 is the same as 40 to me. It's just like I can't. Like, oh, I gotta attack twice.
Well, maybe when we go back to Zendikar, there'll be a green or black land that lets you fling something.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need a fling land or a green land that like gives it like we need a Hashep Oasis that gives it like trample.
Yeah.
+3/+3 and trample, yes please. So there you go. Those are some fun historic decks that can be pioneer decks.
I think I'm gonna check out that Storm Herald list. Yeah. I kind of had my eye out for historic lists that like struck my fancy, and everything I found was like nowhere even remotely close to what I didn't even know what I was looking for, but I knew nothing I was finding was what I was looking for.
Yeah.
And like I really didn't feel like wading through the quagmire that is Twitter right about now. So
yeah, I think that at least what I found, like I said, in Historic, there's a lot of linear aggressive decks because it has the same problem that Pioneer does.
Yeah.
Where the removal's not quite good enough.
Yeah.
To stop that kind of thing. So like people are just trying to get under you, but you can just get your feet under you and like actually play real games of Magic. Like I have found like they did the Artisan format and I was like, oh, this is okay. Like I'm actually like attacking and blocking and doing things. And Historic did have like a feel of some attacking and blocking and doing things.
Yeah.
It still has the like standard problem where, like I said, your opponent draws like the perfect, their hand and their first 4 draws are unbeatable by all decks in all formats.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, I guess I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, I think I ended up playing like a Historic version of Jund Food. And for the FNM at home, my first 2 games, I played a cat and my opponent scooped. And then when we went to the Artisan event, I think I played an oven and my opponent scooped.
Wasn't cat banned in Artisan or no?
I don't think so.
I had an opponent who went turn 1 cat.
Yeah.
Turn 2 oven. Turn 3 oven, claim the firstborn.
Whew.
And I was just like, I'm going to concede because I'm going to die, but I'm also not going to want to sit here for 15 minutes as you click your way through all these ovens. I just don't want to. I'm done. I was like, wow, like that is an unbeatable hand. They just played 4 uncommons. It's like they played 4 unbeatable uncommons. Just that combination of uncommons is the hard lock to attacking and blocking.
Can never win.
It's like, congratulations, I will concede now. Like I said, I've just been playing cycling.
Yeah.
That deck is still like good.
Yep. So, and that's another cheap deck too.
Yeah, you can like the only thing that I kind of bought for it was I bought the cycling lands, which I think are at uncommon.
Okay. Or
uncommon or common. The red and white cycling lands. The list I posted on Twitter, I had 4 clifftop retreats, but I cut those for just plains and mountains.
Yeah.
Because like them being tapped on turn 1 hurt too much.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that deck's just fine if you played it in. If you drafted some Ikoria, you have that deck. Just slap some lands in it and you're good. So this has been a lot of arena talk for us not officially being in the arena talk section.
Right.
But yeah, we said Winota's banned in Historic, suspended, whatever. Yeah. Like they get to do this weird thing where they suspend a card and they're like, no wild cards for you.
Yeah, that's really strange when I read that part of the announcement.
We'll give you wild cards if we ban it.
Right.
And it's like, so you just don't ban it ever?
Yeah.
Like, it's banned. I go in. I can't play it.
Yeah.
If I put it in my deck, no good.
Well, one of the things they said in the announcement is that you can still play it in Standard. And I think even though there has been some focus shifted to Historic, there's still way more Standard getting played than Historic.
No, this is true. I understand where they're coming from, but it just kind of feels weird.
Yeah.
That they're like, oh no, it's suspended.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not going to give you anything for it. It's like,
yeah.
Like again, like you made a Historic queue. Like, what if someone's jam is playing Historic?
It's true.
And their jam was playing Winota, which was a good and right thing to do.
Sure. Fair magic, just how Richard Garfield intended.
Yeah, I'm sure he was like, I had this cool mana system, and you're going to play a land that's going to tell you how powerful your cards are. But then I went on turn 4, I want you to put 25 mana worth of cards on the battlefield. I think that's how this game should work out. I want you to be constrained by resources for your first 2 to 3 turns. And then go nuts.
And the floodgates open.
If you make it to turn 4, you deserve to just do whatever you want.
They call that like a rolling start in F1 racing, right?
Yeah. you just roll into it, and then you just gun it. It's like, oh, cool.
Everybody gets 2 laps at 50 miles an hour, and then you go.
Yeah. So.
Or I guess not F1. F1's standing start, but like NASCAR's rolling start.
Yeah. Get the pace car out there. Llanowar Elf is your pace car.
Yeah.
It just warms you up. You're like, oh, hey, Llanowar Elf, thanks for the warm up. 20 power, go. Oh, what happened?
Poof, you're a Winota.
Poof, you're a Winota, now go away. Has there been any like other things going on in the arena?
I don't think so. I mean, like you said, we just spent basically the whole episode on arena.
All right, so one thing I wanted to touch on as we move to the end of the Ikoria season, which feels super weird to say.
Yeah, it feels like it just started.
Yeah, it just feels like it's, just started, and we're like already in Core 21 spoilers, and I think there's only like 2 more weeks left.
Yeah. 2 weeks of Mastery Pass, so yeah.
Yeah. So the Mastery Passes, so the Ikoria one at the start of the season, there was some kind of consternation that it was a little bit less generous.
Yeah.
Than the previous ones. The things that I look at the kind of the gems, because that kind of knocks down what the actual price is, right? So if you make it to the max level, those gems just come like right off what you paid, right? So the max level for this one is 80.
Okay.
And so for this, you get 4,000 gold and 8,000 gems, and it's 3,400 gems to buy the pass.
800 gems.
But it's 3,400 gems to buy it.
Right, yeah. You said 8,000 gems.
Sorry.
You get 8,000 gems.
You get 800 gems, I'm sorry.
Right, yeah.
Right. That'd be a good deal if we got 8,000
That would be a very good deal.
You get 800
Free
gems.
money.
Yeah, so basically it works out to being 2,600 gems if you make it to the max level. Now, if you look at Theros went to 90 was the max level. So it was slightly longer. I think that this season is 71 days, and Theros was like 84 days.
Okay.
It was slightly longer.
Almost a week, yeah.
Almost a week. But for those extra like 10 levels, when you bought the Theros Mastery Pass, you got 1,800 gems.
Yeah, so you got 1,000 more gems right off the rip.
Yeah. And it seems like it's the same number of packs. I'm trying to find the packs here. I think it's 20 packs for both of them.
Okay.
So you are just paying like an extra 1,000 gems for this one as compared to the ones you had done previously.
What's a draft token worth though? Because that has a gem value, right?
Yeah, there is a draft token included with Ikoria. I guess I don't know. I'm assuming it's in there. I've not bought it.
Yeah.
And this is the first time they've given a draft token.
Yeah.
A draft
is 1,000 gems though, right?
Is it? So is that where they're getting you?
It might be.
They're just giving you the draft token as opposed to the 1,000 gems.
Maybe.
I
guess I'm not 100% sure if a draft is 1,000 gems.
It's somewhere around there. But just keep that in mind that if you were like, oh, this is only going to cost me 1,600 gems, I'm going to get like a bunch of gems back when I do this. You're not going to get as many gems back. Yeah. Your gems have already been used to purchase a draft, it would seem. So,
which is fine.
Yeah.
Like if you're planning on drafting Core 20 even once, it's fine.
Yeah. And I will say that hopefully the draft format is good. Like, I'm usually not the biggest fan of core set draft.
Yeah.
Because it's usually a little
tends
simple.
To get stale real quick.
Yeah. I do not know if I will be grinding my way to Mythic and doing 52 drafts in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That will probably not happen.
Yeah.
I
will
wrong.
not be.
You're like, I will definitely not be.
Yeah.
So I think that's everything, right?
I'm pretty sure that's everything.
We've managed to go almost 2 hours. The classic.
We pulled the show.
we made it
had
the
almost
show.
nothing to talk about and made it last for 2 hours.
Yeah. I'm glad you guys like this.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I like doing these ones anyway. I prefer the more conversational ones.
Yeah.
And according to our Discord, our listeners do too. So
yeah, I was happy that I don't know who made the comment. Let me see if I can find it. Someone said that they like the show and they always find that they learn something. And I was like,
oh, that was Ken, wasn't it?
Was that Ken?
I think Ken said that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, people learn stuff. This is amazing.
Learning is fun.
Yeah. I was like, oh, there we go. I was like, that is very nice.
Yeah,
So-
it was Ken. Still listening to it. Fantastic as always. Learn more than I think I don't know.
There we go. I didn't realize that Ken had made it on here. All right, because I remember Ken when we had mentioned a Discord. He's like, I don't know about that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, Ken is Mayan.
Ken is mine. Yes, now that I see him there, I was like, oh yeah, that is Ken.
Yeah.
So there we go. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he sent me a message on Facebook asking for a personal invite link because I guess he was too good for our normal invite link.
I think that there was a problem with the link in some of the old descriptions, but I think the new descriptions it's fixed. If it's not, if someone tries and it's not, please let me know and I'll try to fix it. We are old and easily confused by technology, or at least I am.
Well, that's exactly what I told him. Is we were still learning technology. We're 2 old farts trying to do this, and it's not always super intuitive for us.
40 and still learning the computers.
What does this button do?
Yeah. Oh
this
God.
is hard work. I need to order a tab.
I can't fix it now. I hit a button and I don't know what I did wrong. All right. So with that, if you would like to tweet, again, what cards you're excited about, or if you have questions about like what cards you should be buying for Core 21 and kind of when, you can get at us on Twitter at CasualTryPod.
Yep. You can also find us on Facebook at CasualTryHardMTG. You can drop us an email at show@CasualTryHardMTG.com. Don't forget, if you're looking to pick up any singles, TCG Player typically has the lowest prices, and we have an affiliate link with them, tcg.casualtryhardmtg.com. Anything you buy after following that link will give us a very small percentage that helps to keep the show going. If you want to support us a little bit more directly, you can do that on Patreon, patreon.com/CasualTryHardMTG. We super appreciate all of our patrons, and that also gives you entrance into our special finance room, invite only, where all the high rollers hang out.
Yeah.
Or something. Speaking of our, high roller finance room, our Discord is up and running, and there's some pretty interesting conversations happening over there. So if you haven't hopped into our Discord, make sure you do that.
Yeah, I think there might. I don't know if there's still some free stuff floating around the Discord as well.
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that. I definitely have some more free stuff. It's not anything new. It's just stuff I've been giving out, but I have plenty of codes left still. So if you haven't gotten a code yet, or if you need another FNM code, hit me up in the free stuff room. Now, just to be clear, I've had some people asking for the FNM at home codes. I do not have those. Our game store did not participate in that promotion. So the codes that I have are the same ones you pull out of the Theros FNM promo packs. I think you're allowed 4 per account. So if you haven't gotten your 4 yet, let me know and I'll send you one. But these are not the FNM at home codes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, I think that is a show, right?
I think that's a show. We will catch you guys in our Discord.
Yeah, we will catch you in Discord.